I know you've been down that road before, and it looks a little like this. Like you wait till the last minute to get something done because the story you tell yourself is that you work better under pressure. Am I right? Well, I've been there. I'm getting through that, and I'm working past the mindset trap of procrastination. Now, this only works when you are ready for something different. And when you know you're ready is by feeling that you are defeated by procrastination, by you being so doubtful that you can even get past procrastination and that you value yourself to put yourself first again. And that maybe this overarching feeling of anxiousness is coming from the fact that you are on a loop of procrastination. So if you are feeling any of those things, stay tuned and check out my video, 3 Core Truths, where I go into a little bit more about understanding this vision that you're creating for yourself and really who you are and what you value in this life. Getting really clear about the 3 Core Truths allows you to take bigger steps towards what you want because there's meaning behind it. When you develop the purpose behind the action becomes more doable. You stayed, and that's because you're really curious about how to break the procrastination cycle. There's 2 things that I want to dive into today. One, it being this urgency-driven mindset, whether you're aware of it or not, choosing to do things that are higher on your priority list because there's this pressure to perform. And sometimes it comes down to really knowing yourself better. So again, going back to that 3 core truths and understanding who you are and what you value most in this life will give you an idea of what you need to be prioritizing in this season and stage of your life. Sometimes you just get caught up in running off of the effect rather than being the cause. So being the cause of your life is really dictating what priority comes first. Being the effect is just following what sequentially happens afterwards, or what I would consider putting out the fires. The mind is really tricky and it will find things to put in its place above certain things on your list to create more urgency behind them, like they have to be done now, to move aside what you originally were procrastinating on, which is something that you probably find a lot of value in for yourself, but now you're going to put that onto external factors or external requirements. And it eases the pressure on ourselves. If we don't value ourselves, if we don't believe that we're worth taking time for ourselves to really take care of ourselves, then we're going to fill our list, we're going to fill our days with things that are not that. Really, it's just eating up our time. And although we may think that we're staying busy, and we're doing work constantly, we're actually avoiding the things that, are really important to us. Not only will that allow you to steer away from these priorities that you at one point set for yourself, but it almost slides you into this relaxed feeling of, well, I'll approach that later on, or my exercise is not really that important right now. This is way more important. And you'll start making excuses for yourself. You'll start excusing to show up for yourself versus showing up for other people. And if that got you in a place of feeling low and like I had enough, then you're ready for change. If you're not there yet, that's okay. And I can't do anything. I can't really spin your life around and make you do something that you're really not ready for. I can't really make you do anything, but you really have to feel that the effect that that you causing this ripple effect of prioritizing other things over your own needs is affecting you in a way that you no longer are willing to stand for. So what's the plan, right? Setting up, and I was introduced to this matrix, the Eisenhower matrix, where you're listing things in the matter of importance and urgency, and those 2 things together. So you have to have these 2 elements in order to set up and block your schedule so that you don't have things taking its place and pulling you in a different direction. And you'll notice that the doors open when you visualize this according to the matrix and your 3 core truths. What is most important for you to get done every day? Working from top 3 priorities down is actually a really good setup so that you're not overwhelming yourself with what needs to be done or what you want to get done for yourself, but then you see all these pockets of opportunity to play with. And another mindset trap to really recognize in this cycle of procrastination is your level of perfectionism. I knew that by me avoiding something, I was avoiding the judgment and the embarrassment of not looking smart enough or good enough to stand behind that work. So projects always were left unfinished. I would go through these ideas and even start in creating mode and then always leave them unfinished because I was afraid. I was afraid of the judgment. And so if you've been accumulating unfinished projects, then you might be in the perfectionist mind trap. And when you're in that perfectionist mind trap, you're always worried about the result being so perfect. So is it perfect enough to be revealed and opened up to the public for other people to use or to see or to read or whatever that is? And waiting on that perfect opportunity for it to be right, for it to be perfect, may never come. So the unfortunate part is that all your work, all your beauty, all of your intelligence is not being showcased into the world because you're holding yourself back. You're procrastinating on putting something out there. Doing the thing because you're worried that you're going to look stupid. You're worried that that it's not going to be perfect. The beauty in practicing something, the beauty in getting something done just to actually finish it, is that it starts this evolution of self and work, and that you value just doing it over being perfect. It's the same value I see in being versus always doing. There's this balance, there's this harmony behind the balance. So creating harmony within and getting past these mindset traps is really about embodying the person that is showing up to say, yes, this is important to me, over the person that is saying, the ego that's saying, no, you're not ready yet. Honoring both of those voices is important. Understanding where each one of those voices come from, where the story is being said, and then understanding to what degree you want this for yourself. Is it more important that I am seen taking imperfect action, or not being seen at all? Is it more important for me to be satisfied with doing the work and putting that and getting that done versus sitting still and doing nothing? What is more painful to me? And these are certain questions that you have to ask yourself, and I've had to work through a lot. Not only does this allow us to really trust in our abilities more, but actually trust that what we have to offer is something that is of value to someone else. So when we undermine our value, when we undermine our worth and our purpose in this world, we get pulled into these mindset traps. Perfection being one of them, where that we're not really ready to complete anything or get something fully done to be seen or witnessed or to be read in whatever capacity that it is, because we're not ready yet. We're not ready to feel the consequences of what would come if it wasn't perfect. And what is the reality of that? Well, you have to face that on your own to see that it being perfect is not more important than it being done. So creating this balance and this harmony between what is most important to me and what are the consequences of not doing something. When you visit that part of yourself where you acknowledge that getting something done is more important than it being perfect, then you decide to take action. In that moment, you'll decide to take action. Creating this YouTube channel was years in the making because I was so fixated on it being perfect. The fact that I face today is that my message being heard in any capacity, whether or not it's perfect or not, because it never will be, is allowing me to reach more people, is allowing me to be witnessed on a level that I haven't been witnessed before. And it's adapting my energy and inspiration to this concept of it being done rather than perfect, or practicing is giving me the opportunity to practice again, to practice over and over and over again, and actually start perfecting something that I didn't feel comfortable with in the beginning, that it was so new to me that now that I do it more often, I'm more comfortable with it. So the uncomfortable bubble that you are stuck in is only allowing your reach to go so far. Once you start kind of popping through that bubble and giving yourself the opportunity to practice, you start to pull or relieve the pressure of the bubble, and you get more comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's really the driving force behind what I'm doing now on a scale that's totally different than what I'm used to. I was so used to pushing the envelope and really getting uncomfortable physically, and now I'm doing it at a different level in a different stage of my life, and I'm really enjoying that aspect of growing that I wasn't able to see before because I held myself back in so many ways. So one of the activities I want you to step into right away, whether it's right now or later today, is writing down a list of things that are important to you that you want to prioritize in the next 4 weeks. And this can be, again, on any level of development or any really structure to what is pressing or meaningful to your life in this moment. It's all going to be different because we're all in different seasons of our life. Write down those priorities, write down the steps to meet those priorities or action steps, because really just imagining yourself and creating the vision is one part of the process. The other part is creating the steps to get you to where you would like to be. So be curious about what's involved, be open to it evolving and unfolding in a different way for yourself, and know that once you're dictating and transcribing and you're really starting to claim this intention, you're creating the energy to put you towards and take those steps towards those priorities. So the activity is to write down the priorities. The next part of that activity is taking action immediately. So what's one small action that you can take in that very moment that will help you? Now, obviously the planning is going to help you. So planning out the steps to get to that intention or priority or the completion of that priority is important. But going one step further and following through on one of those action steps is going to help you create the momentum that you need to really show up day after day in meeting those priorities, meeting yourself where you're at and meeting those priorities so that you can show up and take imperfect action. Post in the comments below one thing that you want to take action on that's reaching towards a greater vision for yourself. Or post in the comments something that you're feeling resistance towards. If you want to join my community on Facebook, Harmony Within, I'm hosting a Tapping Tuesday for the group where I will be showing you and sharing with you a live experience of EFT tapping so that you can release that resistance and start choosing to show up how you want to feel, feeling empowered to make that choice in that very moment and taking action today. And as always, thanks for showing up. Thanks for being a part of the All in Harmony community, and I'll see you next week.